Meghan continued to receive a strong wave of public opinion, being heavily criticized for being a royal daughter in law, but unable to understand the pecking order of the royal family, who urged Harry to leave his hometown and break off his relationship with his family. We will update you and analyze specifically in this video. Welcome back. We are Kate Middleton and the Queen YouTube channel. According to a royal expert, Meghan Markle packed her bags and came back to the US, vowing to never set foot in the UK again because she couldn't be the star, even though some people are urging her to go back. And this royal expert is claiming the decision to leave the country was up to Meghan. Expert Charles Ray has said that Meghan Markle was the one who decided that she wanted to leave the royal family behind. And the expert went on to say, I don't believe that she understood the pecking order of the royal family. So she thought she just picked up her toys and decided to go off to America. Right from the beginning, though, the people of the UK never viewed her as the victim that she tried to portray herself as. So she ran away to the US, where she tried the same tricks there. But it looks like Americans are just as smart as the Brits. We're not buying her victim narrative either. To be honest with you, most Brits didn't even know that she was biracial until some squatty mentioned it. Meghan believed that she was marrying second in line to the throne, but she didn't truly understand what it meant to be the spare. Not only is Harry not really second in line to the throne, because William has heirs and spares, in fact, he's a lot further down the list than Meghan ever thought. So, if her idea was that she was going to become the first Black Queen of England, she would be very disappointed indeed. Honestly, I think that she's just been watching too many movies. She thought that by marrying Harry, she stood a chance that one day she was going to be the queen. She's probably as stupid as Harry is. In other news, it's looking like President Trump really has a good chance of winning. And if he does, Harry's going to be gone. So he needs to get himself sorted well before that happens. I'm sure there was an ulterior motive in their rush to get back to the UK. It's all about money and status. Because let's be real, Meghan Markle doesn't do anything for anything less than money and status. If they have to come back, I do hope the palace is not going to put up with any of her BS. I hope when she starts trying to make demands and starts putting on airs, they put her in her place. I do feel bad for the royal family. They really are in a difficult situation. And they haven't done anything wrong whatsoever, but now they're going to be expected to welcome the two of them back. It really is unbelievable. The fact is, the royal family was already very welcoming to Meghan Markle, and look at how it ended. They don't have any obligation to do it again. And you know what? They better not make either of those people working members of the royal family ever again. In my opinion, that ship has sailed. It's too late. I mean, once you have crossed so many lines like those two have, there's no going back. Personally, I can't stand either of them. They're always just trying to take, take, take. Megan thought that when she joined the royal family, everybody was going to see her as some type of superior being. They were just going to step aside and hand her the crown. Clearly, she didn't do her research, and soon enough, she was put into her place. It needed to happen. Queen Elizabeth didn't abdicate in her favor. Queen Elizabeth didn't move out of Windsor Castle so that she could have it. Queen Elizabeth did not hand over the crown jewels to Meghan Markle. I'm sure there were a few choice words from Her late Majesty that put Meghan in her place, and so after that, she's been pitching a fit ever since. And it's about time for Meghan Markle to just crawl back under the rock from where she came. I think that she got off very lightly because she never met the Duke of Edinburgh when he was in his prime. He would have known what to do with her. Let's also be clear here, Meghan Markle is not a princess in her own right. She only has a title because of Harry, and that title is actually the lowest of all royal titles, which is Duchess. Her children are Prince and Princess because King Charles is their grandfather. But the kids cannot pass on their titles to their children if they ever have them because they're only prince and princess by extension. It's not a formality. So basically, they were just given non hereditary titles, which don't mean a thing. But Meghan Markle is no princess. Catherine is Her Royal Highness Catherine, Princess of Wales. And I know that pisses Meghan off, but it doesn't really matter how Meghan feels about it. It's obvious, though, that Meghan Markle still doesn't know her place, or rather can't accept it. I mean, for most of us, it's not that complicated. From the moment we set eyes on Meghan and her mother, too, we knew what they were all about. Let's remember, it was Meghan Markle who convinced Harry that they had to steal the late Queen's nickname for their own daughter. I was disgusted. But Princess Meghan, I mean, come on, get out of here. And what is she going to do next? Are we going to see another Netflix project, another fashion project? Are they going to try to buy a bigger McMansion? Is she going to try to be another character in a movie? It's not going to work. Understand in many ways the late queen's hands were tied, but I do wish that she had made Harry wait a period of time, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, before marrying Meghan Markle. Because by then, Meghan would have been gone. Meghan wouldn't have been interested in Harry anymore if she didn't have this promise of a title. And then Harry wouldn't be in the mess that he currently finds himself in. He doesn't have a country, he doesn't have a job, he doesn't have his family, his friends, he doesn't have even respect from anyone. 70 amazing years on the throne and a well deserved platinum jubilee were ruined by those two imbeciles in America. During the Oprah Winfrey interview, Meghan said that they had not supported the team, but this is one of her truths. Her late majesty created the team of 17 experienced royal clerks led by Samantha Cohen, but then Meghan Markle fired them because she didn't find their work satisfactory. It makes me so angry. In preparation for the wedding, the palace gave Meghan coaches to teach her, to explain the hierarchy, to explain protocol, the roles of the different members of the royal family. But she didn't want to hear any of their advice. She just dismissed all of them. And then she proceeded to act like a bull in a china shop. I mean, she has no respect for protocol or traditions. And the worst part is Meghan Markle is unwilling to learn. Now, the late queen had a few different people ready to guide Meghan in this journey to becoming a real royal, but Meghan refused their advice. So she has nobody to blame for this colossal failure except for herself. It was also pretty obvious early on that Meghan expected her role within the royal family to be a lot more important than just the wife of a down the line prince. Her jealousy of William and Catherine is clear to see. Just think about the perfectly timed news and the photo releases trying to overshadow William and Catherine's events. But Meghan Markle has never been a star, so why did she believe that she was going to be number one in the royal family? It's delusions of grandeur, that's what it's called. Meghan gave up the best job that she ever had. Thought people in the US were going to be so impressed with her just because she had a title, but that didn't happen. And I do wonder if there's any part of Meghan who regrets throwing it all away. But probably not, because probably in her mind, she didn't give anything up. And that's the real problem here. And that's what makes this whole situation an absolute joke. America is a republic, and so they don't even recognize titles. That just tells us what a social climber Megan is. She will do anything to get one rung higher. This is hardly a good example for those invisible children. So, Megan, do everybody a favor. Stay in the US. Don't ever bother coming back to Great Britain or any Commonwealth country again. They don't want you there for so many reasons, but being classless and tacky, that's probably number one. And what is going on with Megan's face? I mean, I know she took a lot of Ozempic, so that's why her body looks all skeletal, but what is going on with her face? She looks awful. But let's remember, Megan said that she was going to hit the ground running. She was going to modernize the monarchy. What was she even talking about? If and when the monarchy needs modernizing, well, that's the job of the reigning monarch. That's not Megan's job. I mean, the wife of sixth in line to the throne. She also had this fantasy that they should be treated equally to William and Catherine, and when she realized that could never happen, well, she made Harry leave with her. Harry should have explained to her how the monarchy functioned, although I'm sure she wouldn't have listened. Furthermore, even before they were officially engaged, Meghan had her agent in California look into deals that she could enter into when she came back to the US. So, of course, first she had to marry Harry, and then she could get a royal title for herself, but she never wanted to remain in the UK long term. Megan went to England, first of all, to hunt for a husband. She was somewhere around 36 years old, and she couldn't find anybody who wanted to marry her in the USA who had enough money for her, of course. I guess she tried Canada too. Again, she came up empty. And she was probably hunting for an aristocratic title. Just imagine how excited she was when she sunk her claws into Harry. The perfect target. Just give him some attention, whisper some sweet nothings into his ear, remind him of his mommy, and bam, he was wrapped around her little finger. But obviously, she didn't look too much into his personal finances. Actors and actresses, at least if they're any good, will research their roles before they act, and I'm sure Meghan Markle did a little bit of research. She knew there was a hierarchy. She knew there were rules within the royal family, not only internal rules for the family to follow in royal protocol, but also rules defined by the Constitution. I don't believe for one second she was completely ignorant. And these rules are strict. I mean, if Parliament were to vote to execute the king, for example, the execution order would be in the red boxes and the king would have to sign it. So Meghan had been plotting her release for a very long time, but she just thought she'd be able to keep one foot in the door. And she thought that she had Harry in the palm of her hand, and that the late Queen's indulgence for him would give her the chance to obtain a relaxation of the rules. And, that's why she was invited to Christmas, and also she got to ride on the Queen's private train. She saw the crowds, how much they loved her, and she thought that she was more popular than Catherine. She knew she would be watched. Now, obviously, there are racist people in the UK. I mean, there are racists all around the world, and especially in the USA, where Meghan's from. And the racists often do make their voices heard. But Meghan made two big mistakes. First, she whined on an official trip to South Africa, and she complained that she wasn't being paid for that while she was in Australia. So that just showed how much she cared about money. Meghan really thought that she could just have her cake and eat it too. Well, obviously, that hasn't worked out for her. And now she's trying to return to the UK so that she can eat that cake while also selling it on her new website. Ain't gonna happen. This is the main content of today's news. How do you feel about these topics? Is your opinion the same as mine? Please leave me a comment below. And don't forget to support us with a like, share, and subscription to the channel. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. Please be a loyal viewer of Kate Middleton and the Queen YouTube channel. Goodbye for now, and I'll be back to see you again soon.